Now we are crocheting a cover or sleeve for an iPad or tablet. I'm using 3 different colors and one type of shell stitch. This is actually one I made for one of my daughters, and she's the one who chose the design. It always looks different depending on the color you choose to use. And if you want to add a lining, please see the linked separate video about that. The number of stitches you need depends on the weight of your yarn. If you look at these two, this one has 4 shells and this one has 4.5 because the yarn is thinner. When we start, we will be measuring it round your iPad or tablet, but the number of stitches always needs to be in multiples of 8, and then you add 1. So I'm writing a few examples here now. But let's start working on it. So we're starting by making a chainless foundation. I'm using this soft grip crochet hook, and you can check down in the notes for the link of where you can buy a set. So a slip knot first and chain 2. And the reason I'm doing a chainless foundation instead of a chain and a row of single crochet is that this is stretchier. So I have 2 stitches and the hook into not the first one but the second one from the hook. Insert the hook, yarn over and pull through 1. Yarn over again and pull through just 1. And next yarn over you pull through both. So what you are actually doing is the chain and the first row of single crochets at the same time. So now insert the hook into the stitch we just made. Yarn over, pull through 1 and again through 1 and then through both. That's our second stitch, and this is how we continue until we get enough. Always first just through 1. That is really the chain, the starting chain that we are making on the left side, and the first row of single crochets on the right side. Now through both, and so on. And this is how you continue until you get enough stitches. And so you need, like we were talking, so I will need 8 times 8 for this, plus 1, which will make 65. So just continue like this until you have enough. Now I have 65, multiple of 8 plus 1, and I'm using the new color, the color for the first row of my fan shape, already for closing off this round into a ring. Just make sure that it's not twisting when you close it off. So insert the hook into the start and take the new color and a slip stitch straight through. And now we're starting to make the fan shape. First chain 1 quite tight, just at the beginning here, and then we work using trebles. That means 2 yarn overs with each one, and it goes into the 4th stitch from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. So a treble, yarn over and through 2 each time. and 7 trebles into the same stitch. Without any chain stitches in between. So always insert the hook into that same stitch. Through 2, through 2, and through 2. There's 3 now. Until we have 7. Two, 4, 6, one more. Now we have 7. Then chain 1 and the same again, but we skip 7 stitches, so into the 8th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And here exactly the same, 7 trebles, always with 2 yarn overs. And this is all there is for the first row. Always 7 trebles into the 8th stitch from the previous fan or shell. I think I now have 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, yeah. So it looks like this at the moment. And chain 1 and continue the same way. So 2 yarn overs and into the 8th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like this until you get to the end of the round. Here I am, right round. And now we need 2 rows of single crochets, and at the same time we are attaching this loop into that foundation. Insert the hook into the start of the row and change back to the color you started with. Mine is yellow. And make a slip stitch. You often need to tighten these yarns that are here at the back. Then chain 1 and a single crochet into each of those 7 stitches there. There, and then a single crochet so that this here chain gets attached to the foundation at the same time into the middle of this. Count the 4th from where all the stitches are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and insert the hook there and a stitch so that this stays in the middle of it. A single crochet. Like that. And then we continue the same. So 7 single crochets. I mean 1 into each stitch. There, and again get the 4th. 1, 2, 3, 4, and insert the hook there. Get the yarn pull through, and a single crochet. So this is how it attaches it there, and continue the same right round. There we are, and then a slip stitch into the start of the row, chain 1, and now round the whole row so that there's one single crochet into every stitch. No increases, no decreases, nothing, just one stitch into every stitch right round. Into every one here as well, where you were attaching the previous row. Like that. After that we need the alternate one, so that we are starting in the middle of the shell shape. And here I am at the end of the previous row, and I'm changing into my third color now, here, making the slip stitch already using the new color. So a slip stitch to finish off that row of the single crochets, and chain 4, chain 4, and now we are making half a shell here with 3 trebles into the same stitch where we started. One, then a second one, and a third one, like this, and chain 1, and we are making a treble above this here single crochet. There's really 2 stitches, you can use either because they are on both sides of it. I prefer using the one that's slightly after it here, and then I just do the same 7 trebles. That's 7. So you see how it goes. This hasn't been attached yet. And again chain 1, and then 7 trebles in between the next 2 shells here, and just like this then until the end. So otherwise it's the same as the first row, only that you attach them in between the previous shells. Now I'm almost at the end of that row, and then I need to do the other half shell there. So chain 1 and 3 trebles into the same where we started. So there's 3 on that side and 4 on that side. And after that again we'll make the 2 rows of single crochets, and the first one attaches this here row of shells. So here again I'm taking the yellow to close off this row using a slip stitch and tighten that there, and chain 1 and single crochets, and now again we are at this stage where we need to attach that. So 1, 2, 3, 4th. By the way, this here bulges out at the start because of the starting foundation. We will be fixing that later when we even that off, so don't worry about it. So here a single crochet around that there, and then continue across the next shell. And again 1, 2, 3, 4th, and single crochet that attaches it there, and like this until the end of the row again. And again, after you've gone right round, finish the row using a slip stitch and chain 1 and a row of single crochets, 1 single crochet into every stitch right round. And to finish off this row now, go back to the first color. The 3rd round of shells will be the same as the first. And chain 1, and then you continue the same as at the start of the previous teal colored one. So now you alternate these two until your work is long enough to cover the whole iPad. And here's the other color about halfway through. When the sleeve is long enough to nicely cover the whole tablet, I like to make one more row round here to make it sort of harder. I'm at the spot where I have just finished the row of single crochets using a slip stitch, and what I'm going to do now is one row of reverse single crochets, so going backwards. That gives a sort of a slightly harder and more solid edging to this. First chain 1, and then we start the reverse single crochet. So you make single crochets but backwards. Insert the hook into the first one, get the yarn and make a single crochet. It sort of crunches it up because you're going backwards. And the same next one. And a single crochet again. So it sort of makes almost like a knot. Next one. And this is how you continue, just right round. I'll make a couple more here now. Just need to check that you don't make two sort of on top of each other, but that you pull it far enough this direction. So it gives you an edging like this. And like this, right round. This is what it looks like when it's done. And then we need to close off the bottom part of it. And looking at it, we see, of course, that it's not straight. So we can't just sort of sew it or crochet it together like that. We need longer stitches here and shorter stitches here to make this straight. Fold the cover so that the starting is at the side, and then you can put the yarn ends inside it. Set the pieces so that the shells are against each other at the same spot, and then take the yarn, and I'm not starting right at the corner, but I start one stitch before where the hole is, where all the trebles for the shell are. And I insert the hook through there and the same spot on the other side. I'm actually chaining one so that I have both ends of the yarn. so the actual yarn and the yarn end, just to make it stronger. And now we continue so that we always take one stitch from this front and one from the back. And the first ones are again single crochets. So you insert the hook through both sides and make a single crochet. And one more. The next 2 stitches, one from each side. There. Now it's starting to sort of dent inwards, so we need longer stitches. The next one will be a half double crochet. So 1 yarn over, insert the hook into the next stitch and pull through and leave it there. And then we continue on the other side, yarn over and insert the hook into the next stitch on the other side. And leave it like that. And now we pull the yarn through all of these. So there's 5 loops on your hook. Pull the yarn through all of these. There. And after this we need a double crochet. So a yarn over into the next stitch, pull through and a yarn over and through the first 2 loops and leave it there. Then yarn over and go to the other side and take a stitch there. And yarn over and through 2 loops. So now we have a double crochet on both sides, but they aren't finished. But now pull through all of these loops. And then 2 more like that. Now I'm where the attaching stitch is. So double crochet but not finishing it. And the same on the other side, back and through these. So we see now that it's forming a seam and at the same time evening this straight. 1 more double crochet. So you need a double crochet each time where there's this stitch, as well as on both sides of it. So double crochet there and there. And put them together. Then half double crochet. So we leaving it like this, and then go to the other side and through all of these loops. After that 3 single crochets. So you take a stitch from both sides and make a single crochet there, there and there. Now we are again where the shell starts, and then we continue doing the same what we've done once. In other words, first a single crochet, and then you just do the same again into the next sort of dents to finish it off. So now that's finished. And then you just have to weave in all the yarn ends. And because the texture of this stitch is so uneven, I always wet these right through and sort of flatten it and let it dry. You may want to keep it just like this, or you can add a lining if you want to. I have a separate video showing how to make the lining, and there's a link to that video at the end of this one, as well as in the description in the video notes. So I hope you have got this far and finished your cover and will enjoy using it.